Hey there, this is Michael Kennedy, the writer of Freaky and It's a Wonderful Knife, and you're listening to the Don't Go Out There podcast.
In a world where zombies, ghosts, serial killers, and vampires all exist, it's Nico, Brian, Mike, and Dustin, and they are all that stand between you and the films that could end the world. Welcome to the Don't Go Out There Horror Movie Podcast.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Don't Go Out There Horror Movie Podcast. Just want to thank all of our fans and listeners. Really appreciate the support. You guys are awesome. Before we get into tonight's film review, just want to give a quick shout out to our website, don'tgoouthere.com. Everything about our podcast is on the website. All of our episodes and interviews, if you want to check those out. We've done some incredible interviews in the past. Go check them out there in a specific tab by themselves so you don't have to scroll through hundreds of episodes on Apple or Spotify, etc. We also have our store if you want to grab a shirt, a mouse pad, a hat, all that good stuff. We'd love to see your pictures, rep your favorite podcast. And Shan's Etsy page is also attached if you want to grab a tumbler. All of our social media links are on there as well. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. Like us, subscribe us, follow us, all that good stuff. And the last thing I want to shout out on our website is our Patreon. We call it Blood Donors. We have the traditional monthly reoccurring kind. If you want to support us, help us pay the bills, as we say. Or if there's a movie you want us to review, that option is available as well. Just check out our website, don'tgoouthere.com. Also, if you haven't noticed, we've recently joined the Believe Network. So there's some ads on our program now. But if you want ad-free content, go check us out on Blood Donors. The ad-free episodes will be available there. We appreciate your support. We hope you enjoy the episode. All right, let's jump into the film review. Let's get freaky with each other. Mike, you want to announce your pick and why you picked it?
Yeah, buddy, I sure do. Okay, I picked it for a couple reasons. One, it's been on my list for a while. And two, I've always liked the concept of Freaky Friday. Like, I don't think there's like a bad version of that movie. Like, whether it's the hot chick or the one with Lindsay Lohan and Jamie Curtis, the original, like, I really like that concept of the body switching thing. It's fun. And I think it makes for good comedy. And I do think I've been kind of like waiting to see it in a fun horror setting, and I think they nailed it here. So that's why I went and picked 2020's Freaky. Kind of underplayed, obviously, because of the pandemic at the time. The kind of love that it got, but it's starting to find it's already found its footing. It is maybe not cult classic, but a lot of people really do love this movie, and I'm in that club with those people. I really do love this movie. I think it's a really fun watch. Vince Vaughn, when the casting is there, it feels like a fish out of water, but I think he freaking nails it. I think it's awesome. I think Catherine is awesome. I think they do a really good job for like kind of a short little fun slasher movie, fleshing out character development, which, really shocked me the first time I saw it. They're all characters I'm invested in, weirdly, and they do a pretty good job with the runtime kind of making me feel that. So great kills, by the way, maybe one of the movies with the most underrated kills that I've seen. Like, so many good kills to pick from as far as favorite goes. I'm very excited to cover it, in case you can't tell. Very happy we're finally getting to do it. Shout out to Vince Vaughn. Great kill the fucking game run this movie, man.
All right, I'll go next. I really like this movie, Mike. I hadn't seen it, but I've heard only good things about it. Heard how good Catherine and Vince were, and they were. I really enjoyed it. It has a great opening scene, great kills, like you mentioned. It's fun. That's my two words for this movie: fun and balanced. Like, I've always had a struggle with horror comedies where they don't balance it well. I think this one nails it. It's not
really
perfect.
Well.
It's got some nitpicks. Well. Like, I'm not a big fan of the just some of the dialogue throughout. Some of it's not that great. And I honestly could go without the final ending scene. They could have just ended it in the ambulance for me personally.
Yep.
But
I think that's fair.
I'm not going to let that bring the movie too down for me. I have a good time watching it. This is definitely going in the rotation. One of my favorite horror comedies, right up there with Little Monsters. I really like this one. This is good.
Yeah, I agree. To be honest, I usually am the opposite of Mike, where I kind of avoid body swapping movies like this. And I don't know why. I think it's just because in my head, like, I'll know, all right, well, we know what the basic plot is already. And so I'm just not super excited about it. But regardless, it did take me a long time to actually finally watch this. It actually took Dustin and Mike, I think, both saying that they liked this for me to give it a shot. And I'm really glad that I did. It's so much better than I expected it would be. Shout out half the writers team, Michael Kennedy, who we interviewed at don'tgoouthere.com. But he and Landon, I think, have proven that they know how to make some damn entertaining films. Like, it's not, I mean, it's fun, mindless, good time.
Yep.
And sometimes you just need that at the movies, kind of like I said during the Quiet Place prequel, instant relaxation. And that's why I go to the movies. It's just to be entertained. And this one did not disappoint. It's a damn good time.
Completely agree. I saw this movie, I want to say it was early 2022. It may have even been 2021. I can't really remember. But I watched it and I was like, holy shit, that was good. Like, that was so much better than I expected. I'm a big Vince Vaughn fan anyway. Wedding Crasher is one of my favorite comedy movies. And I'm a fan of another movie that I think I'm going to try to sneak in here on you guys called The Watch that he's in. It's sci-fi, but I think there's enough horror in it I could justify it. It's a comedy. Obviously, Vince Vaughn's in it. But anyway.
Jurassic Park at this point. Who cares?
Yeah, that's true. I like Vince Vaughn a lot, and Catherine Newton is great as well. And this movie is just, we've all said it now, fun. Like, this is a fun-ass movie. It's not too heavy. This is something you could put on as background noise, or that's probably not going to work because you're going to get sucked into it like I do. Like, I can't help but look at it and get invested in the story all over again.
All right, I'm doing scene by scene, and I'm doing The Greatest Enemy. Tommy Jarvis has got Jason, and I've got Reading Without Stuttering. All right, here we go. Wednesday the 11th. A group of friends are chatting about the Blissfield Butcher of 1977. All the kills are centered around homecoming. Isaac pushes his girl Sandra, who spills beer on herself. The two leave to clean up, but Isaac is amazed at all the cool art and artifacts. He finds a knife called a Ladola that's in a glass box. He walks past a wall with a missing mask and goes into the basement. He grabs a bottle of wine but drops it on the ground hearing a noise. He's mad at Sandra and cleans up the mess. He stands up and the butcher shoves a wine bottle down his throat, then breaks the glass. Ugh. Knock at the door while Sandra is in the bathroom. She grows antsy until the butcher kicks the door in, who then smashes her head with the toilet lid over and over. Goddamn. Jenny gets her nut and tells Evan he took too long. They walk away until the butcher kills Evan with a broken tennis racket through the head. Butcher chases her through the mansion in a very Jason-like manner. Jenny hides in the closet successfully and emerges when the butcher walks off. Her parents think they're home, and she runs to the door, but the butcher grabs her and slams her through a spike on the wall. He gives her a Michael Myers head nod and hears voices from the knife. The parents enter the house, and the parents let out a death cry, finding their dead daughter. We see the knife is missing and title card. Thursday the 12th. Millie wakes up for breakfast, and Mama Coral wants them all to have a family sit-down breakfast. Cop sister Charlene thinks it's weird Millie is missing out on homecoming for a local theater show with their mom. Millie walks to school and pets Mr. Daniel's puppy. Josh and Nyla pick her up and go to school. Josh wants to pick up drunk guys, and they encourage Millie to go to the dance so she can land Booker finally. Nyla tells Millie it's time she lives her own life. She can't be everything for Mom. Millie gets to her locker and is harassed by other students. Ryler makes fun of her dress, and her other mean girls walk off. Millie checks out Booker, who walks away. All right, Brian, that's the opening set of scenes. What do you think?
Actually, I have a lot on this set of scenes. Absolutely just kick ass cold open here. So many nods to so many horror movies in this scene, especially. I won't go through them all, but even down to the characters' names like Jenny, they were all done on purpose. Speaking of character names, if there's a Saved by the Bell reference, you know that my ass is going to get it in there somehow. And during the commentary, Landon mentions Mitchell Hoog, resembling Zach Morris. And funny enough, Hoog would play Zach's son, Mac, in the reboot of the Saved by the Bell in 2020, I think, as well, when that came out. But yeah, this cold open, and especially the kills, are so fucking awesome. Shout out to Tony Gardner, did all the effects in this. He was involved in both Hocus Pocus movies, Bad Grandpa, Zombieland. Does great fucking work. Those kills are fantastic. I have a hard time, honestly, picking a least favorite one because they're so good. I also love how much the mask resembles Jason's as well. In fact, the name of this was going to be Freaky Friday the 13th, hence the title cards. But apparently Disney shut that shit down, and you know what? Fuck them, because honestly, I like that name better. This movie doesn't work if Catherine Newton and Vince Vaughn aren't 100% in and acting their ass off. And I know Newton was in Paranormal Activity 4. I think that's Dustin's favorite, if I remember, on the 31-31 rankings. No, I think you hated it. And I know she killed it in Ant-Man Quantumania, which Mike and Nico probably completely agree with there as well, since they've seen that. But here and Abigail, this girl is right there with McKenna Grace, just a budding star. I mean, I think she's fantastic. There was a shot I noticed when she's walking up to the school at 12 minutes and 5 seconds that looks exactly like Landon's shot of Jessica Roth in Happy Death Day. And I only remember that because we see that shot like 25 times over and over and over again in Happy Death Day. So it stood out. I love your black wiener, Mr. Daniels. Dude, I laughed my ass off at that line. Like, I know that the Josh character I see is kind of controversial. You either love him or you hate him. A lot of critics and just online people, but I personally think he's hilarious. Celeste O'Connor, we literally just covered her on Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. That released last week. Don'tGoOutThere.com. And one more thing, and I'll shut up. I want to shout out Bear McCreary, who's responsible for the soundtrack, which I also find perfect in this. Dude is a legend. Did Lord of the Rings TV series, Ring of Power, Godzilla remake. But you probably heard us say his name over on the series review shows. He did 177 episodes of The Walking Dead. Fantastic start.
Man, I agree with you. Badass cold open here. Honestly, even when I picked it, I forgot it was a Blumhouse movie because there's been, in that time frame, every fucking movie that came out that was horror was Blumhouse for about a year and a half there. Underage debauchery was quoted there that kind of sounds like a night at Diddy's house. Anyway, this house, what happened? What'd I say? Hey, my bad, man. Anyway. The house is a cool setting. I'm not going to lie. Like, I really like the way this house looks. I think it makes for cool shots, cool visuals. And then the fucking bottom falls out, which the first time I saw it was not expecting. This bottle of wine breaks, and buddy, we get some cool fucking kills right off the bat. Like, shoving the wine bottle right down his throat, I thought was a really cool fucking kill. I know before that he was mad about that bottle break, and he said it looked expensive. No, that looked like a bottle of Josh, like it was about $8 or whatever. I love that kill. I love when we finally get to see the butcher, or we see the butcher here, because you can tell it's Vince Vaughn in a mask. Like, you really can. And that made me giggle. I'm like, oh, that's fucking Vince Vaughn. This is going to be great. I can't fucking wait. And he really does kind of play like a hybrid of Jason and Michael. Like, he really tries to like almost be both, embody that character, which I think is really fun. The toilet kill wasn't great, but that's fine. When they're fucking outside and the girl goes, "It's my vagina, not a drive-through. He was taking too long." I thought that shit was fucking great. What a great fucking line. I think I got it right. Anyway, by the way, and Dustin will appreciate this, the tennis racket kill is badass. He used that thing better than Jim Cornette ever fucking could, pal.
Oh.
That was crazy. That was wild.
Well, it makes sense because he's a heel.
He's a heel, goddamn it. Again, another great kill, a nod to the Bob kill in Halloween for sure with the head tilt. I'm not going to lie. There's a cop telling Millie to underage drink. I could have used that back in the day. I'm not going to lie. I could have used that kind of encouragement instead of chasing me around Lake Wells all the time. The LOL to the black wiener joke, I thought that was awesome. Great line by Josh there. I agree with you, Brian. I really do like that character as well. And like I said in my open, they develop characters in this movie in the first 20-ish minutes. Like, they're fleshed out already. We kind of know who everyone is, what their role is. And I really love the depth that each character has. Like, every character that they put on screen, minus a few here and there, kind of means something. And that's pretty unusual for this kind of movie. Honestly, last thing, I didn't know I know there's a lot going on in the media right now, but I didn't know they still actually bully kids like this, especially in high school. That's pretty fucking insane to me, bro. Hey, man, fuck them kids. That's what I say.
Bring bullying back, soft ass generation. It's a great score to open. I think it's a great way to establish that it's going to be a fun horror movie. Like, it's perfect. The timing, the setting is great too. Wednesday the 11th means there's going to be a Friday the 13th. So I like that. That's, we get that off rip. Pretty typical douchebag teenagers in the open. Nothing groundbreaking or even noteworthy among them as characters. But then we get a fucking brutal first kill. Wine bottle down the throat. And not only that, it shattered and poked through his throat. Like, hell yeah, that was awesome. And then another great kill with the second one. This movie's off to a great start pacing-wise. The third kill is hilarious to me, though. Like, snapping a tennis racket in half and putting it back together through a skull is wild. And honestly, if I were to take a step back, like, that's the only kill to me that doesn't really fit with the rest of them. I don't know. It was more of the butcher trying to be funny to me. But the fourth is right back to being badass. Vince Vaughn has great size, pause, to be a killer in a horror movie. Like, he's 6'5". He looks imposing, especially next to teenagers. Like, that's great casting. Interesting dynamic with Millie and her mom and sister. They establish a lot in that brief breakfast. Like Millie is looking into colleges, but keeping it from her mom. The dad isn't in the picture, and we don't know why just yet. The sister's a cop. The mom's an alcoholic. Like, it's very brief, but so effective. I think this is a really good open that gives us a lot of action and establishes our main characters.
All right, a jock shows off his doghouse in class. I think it's a doghouse, might be a birdhouse. I don't know. He shows off his doghouse in class as Millie makes it to class late again. Booker tells her to set her watch 5 minutes ahead. It saves his ass every time. Millie tells her teacher her doghouse project isn't ready yet and has to do it on the 16th. Everyone's phones go off and they get the alert of the students' murders. Josh joins Nyla and Millie, showing them videos of kids fake caring, and says homecoming won't be canceled. We're at the homecoming game as Millie gets more harassment from football players. She's the mascot. Game's over and Millie turns down a ride home. She chooses to wait for her mom instead. She waits on the bench calling her mom, and we see she's passed out on the couch drunk. Charlene calls telling her mama is slumped, and she asks for a ride, but her phone dies. Millie sees the butcher at a distance. Please don't be the butcher, she chants, and she yells out her cop sister will be here. The butcher begins to walk towards her. She takes off running and makes it under the bleachers. She exits thinking it's safe, but the butcher appears out of nowhere. Shout out to Randy Orton. They run onto the field, and he tackles her. He stabs her with the Ladola, and the butcher reacts weird, noticing blood on his shoulder, and runs off. Charlene saves the day, calling for help. Millie is at the police station, and we see the knife taken into evidence. Millie is soaking in a tub, listening to her mom and sister argue. Millie struggles to sleep, hearing voices, seeing the knife and butcher until the clock strikes midnight. She wakes up confused as can be. Her mom asks a lot of questions, but is weirded out and gives her a moment. Millie cops a feel of her boobs and goes down to breakfast. The butcher wakes up in a serial killer's hangout. However, Millie quickly realizes she's in his body, Friday the 13th, and he lets out a scream. A drug addict asks Millie if she has any candy or drugs. Millie asks now if she looks like her real body, and the addict is convinced he's lying about not having drugs. He even offers to suck his dick. All right, Brian, that's the next set of scenes. What'd you think?
What a fucking line to end on. All right, so Alan freaking Ruck as Mr. Bernardi. Yeah, everyone knows he's Cameron and Ferris Bueller, but what he really deserves credit for, that's right, Captain Harriman, Star Trek 7, boom. He's such a fucking dick in this. Usually don't see him play that type of role at all. By the way, no fucking woodshop class teacher takes themselves this seriously. I'm just throwing that out there. I pretty much think that's the one thing besides coaching PE that nobody gives a shit about doing. This line Josh gives here, about starting a rumor about Ryler getting a carrot stuck in her pussy. Fun story. In middle school, there was a rumor going around about a girl that we went to school with and a hot dog. And I got blamed for starting it, although I did not. But we called her Hot Doggy Dog still to this day. So that's fucked up, but I just wanted to throw that out there. Sorry to anybody that's listening that I knew. Can we talk about the football game? The dude named Strode on the sideline, obviously Halloween reference, but can we talk about how his number is 04 and not just 4? Like, you can also see a 01 as well. Like, it shows the mascot dance. What the ever living fuck is that? Like, that's not even a thing. Nobody has that. It's not a thing, is it? Love the rest of the set of scenes. The whole attack on the football field was fantastic. An empty stadium after football game from experience, creepy as hell. And the way Landon shoots it, I think, is fantastic. Now, Charlene showing up and firing into the air, you fucking kidding me? Like, she's absolutely the worst character in this movie. Also, wouldn't they have kept, a stabbing victim in the hospital, especially if she was a victim of a serial killer on the loose? Yeah, okay, whatever. Send her home. Go to bed. Anyway, just asking the nitpick questions. It's in the job description. Go ahead.
Yeah. Man, this teacher's a fucking prick. Like, you can tell from the jump he's going to be a very satisfying on-screen death eventually. And boy, I'll wait, but he sure was. Fuck this guy. He's an asshole. By the way, if they give a due date for an assignment and you expect it a week ahead of time, fuck that. Eat shit. Anyway, I do find it funny that they're the Beavers. Come on. That shit was intentional. And the fact that she was the Beaver was pretty fucking hilarious. She's also kind of lame. I mean, let's just be honest here, man. She's not one of the cool kids in school. It's fine. Nothing wrong with that. Her mom has the Nancy from Nightmare on Elm Street disease here, man, where she gets drunk and passes out all the time. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. I had a lot going on there. Look, when your phone dies, you might just want to get to walking. That would have been my recommendation. Just gotta keep on moving. Also, that's definitely a nod when Mass Killer across the street, she sees him after something moves out of the way. That's a Halloween nod as always. But I think Vince Vaughn, again, knowing it's Vince Vaughn under the mask, I thought was funny and scary at the same time. Like Nico mentioned, there's good balance here. I did find it weird that all these movies, everyone wants to or ends up switching with a teenage girl. It's kind of strange. I mean, it kind of like pays off later because, she can use that to her or his advantage or whatever. But anyway, so I also like the empty football stadium. I thought it made it really creepy. I thought it was intense, very serious, and like we've already mentioned a ton, the balance. Then, like you mentioned, Brian, why the fuck wasn't she kept overnight at the hospital? That's kind of a weird thing. She was a stabbing victim. Then she decides to take a bubble bath, and these two assholes are in there arguing like she can't fucking hear it. So, really bad household here. If you switched bodies, would you not grab your boobs first too? I feel like you would. I feel like it's kind of like the first move you got to do, right? I feel like it's pretty standard. Like, hey, I wonder what this feels like, right? I know Dustin would, buddy. I know Dustin.
No, honestly, it reminded me of the Scooby-Doo movie from 2002 when they swap bodies and Fred is in Daphne's body and he's, I can look at myself naked.
Fair. Also, where the fuck was the butcher living here, man? That's wild. That layer looks like that's where Michael Myers was hanging out in Halloween Ends for 4 years. That's what that place looks like. What the fuck, man? Last thing, a glizzy for meth. That's tough, man. That's a tough life that guy's living. Poor guy. Prayers up for him.
Yeah, people can change. We get the incredible Alan Ruckus, Mr. Bernardi. I'm sure that Nico recognized him immediately from Ferris Bueller's Day Off and from Speed. But he's just a real dick as a teacher, man. Like, what the fuck? You guys said it. And then at the football game, Booker's name, of course, saying Strode. I had that as well. So that's cool. And I really feel bad for Millie. Not only is her home life what it is, but she's bullied at school and she's the football team's mascot, which is, embarrassing for a lot. I think it's cool. Bobby Hill was the team's mascot. And then she didn't have a ride after the game. My girl has it rough. And it only gets worse. There's the butcher looking menacing, staring at her. Great shot of Vaughn underneath the light in the parking lot, though. I thought that was really good shots there that we got. Crazy effects when he goes to stab Millie and the ground transforms like that. Like, it's kind of hokey, but I don't mind it because it shows us that the knife has, this power. And this is a fun movie, not a serious one that's meant to be taken. So even though it was out of place really in the grand scheme of things, but it was kind of cool seeing. It is odd to me, though, that the transformation wasn't instant. Like, it waited until midnight to go through. I don't get that. But I guess it made it make sense, at least more sense that she was able to get home and wake up in her bed as the butcher, and the butcher woke up in the fucked up layer as Millie. Otherwise, how would they have, gotten to those locations and been confused? So it made sense. It just, why? I don't know. Great use of the date on screen when the butcher screams. And Vince Vaughn playing Millie is hilarious. Like, the rest of the movie, just fucking hilarious. But especially his scream right there when we get the, Friday the 13th pop up on the screen. I laughed my ass off. I'm sold already on this movie.
So nobody else, it didn't bother anybody else. The 0, 4, 0, 1, the jerseys having the 0 in front of single digits doesn't bother anybody else.
I'll be honest with you. I didn't notice it, but that is stupid. That is stupid.
It fucking drives me crazy.
I didn't notice it, but it is stupid. All right, going forward through this scene by scene, I just called them Millie and Butcher, even though they've body swapped, because I ain't got all that time to be trying to clarify every time. All right, Millie joins Mama at breakfast, who continues acting weird. Millie loves the knife, and Mama pours syrup on her food. Millie now begins scarfing down all the food. The mailman checks on Millie, and Charlene joins them, who is also weirded out by Millie's behavior holding the knife. Mama takes the knife from her right as she was about to stab her sister. Mama tells her she needs to stay home and get rest, not go to school. The butcher walks around cautiously through town, but everyone recognizes him and he takes off running. Millie gets all dressed up and makes it to school with an all-new attitude and look. All the guys check her out and she walks right past her friends. Ryler runs up snapping a pic for the gram, wanting to gain some sympathy points. Millie asks to be taken somewhere private. The butcher makes his way into the school. Ryler asks her questions to no answer. Millie grabs her hair and Ryler says she didn't come down here to clam jam. Ryler goes to pee and demands she spill the tea or she leaves. Ryler exits the stall hearing a shower turn on. She calls for Millie but finds the butcher showering. She runs off and into Millie. You need to hide, and she stashes her in the cryo freezer. The butcher is dressed again and finds Ryler opening the cryo freezer. Ryler falls over and her body shatters on the ground. The principal speaks over the intercom announcing homecoming dance has been postponed. Millie sits by Booker in class who licks the blood off of his cut finger. Mr. Bernardi sees it and is sick of her constant need for attention. The butcher finds Nyla and Josh and they run in fear. They make it into a kitchen and Butcher continues to try and convince them he's actually Millie. Butcher does a cheer and the two friends quiz him to make sure he's Millie and they do their handshake. They're in the bathroom now and he brings up the Ladola. Josh Googles the Ladola knife and they research it. They go to Senora Cayenes to translate. She examines the knife and says the swap becomes permanent in 24 hours. All right, Bryce, the next set of scenes, what'd you think?
And we've kind of mentioned this some, like I always knew Vince Vaughn was a great actor, but he's one where I always really just thought he was like, I don't know, kind of like Dwayne Johnson, where he's playing Vince Vaughn in all of his movies. And this showed me that, God, I mean, damn, this guy can really fucking act. Like, however, that aside, this kitchen scene to me makes no sense. So the worst cop of all time ignores the evil sister holding a knife and doesn't realize that she's sneaking up behind her, and the mom walks in and just takes it as she's like pre-stab. Like she just didn't look like she was about to stab her with it. Fuck out of here. Fun fact here, though, Vince Vaughn actually told the stunt driver to actually hit him with the car when he was crossing the street. The director said Vaughn said that he could take the hit, and he did. And yeah, you know what? That sounds cool on paper, but on the screen, it didn't look great. Like the car was basically sitting still, so it's not like you got fucking run over or anything. What do you want credit for? You run into a parked car? God damn it. So get the fuck out of here with that. Fun fact, too. Man, this movie was shot in Duluth and Alpharetta, Georgia, but it sure as hell to me looked like Hill Valley from Back to the Future, which I think that was shot on a back lot. So did you think that too?
I thought the same thing when they walk out there for a minute and we get
Yeah, there's enough similarities that I looked that up because I was like, wait a minute, this fucking looks like the same thing right in front of the courthouse there. And I know I complimented the music earlier and I meant it, but kind of like they did on It's a Wonderful Knife, there are a few places where I'm like, yeah, that song choice is bizarre. And while Millie the Butcher walks into the school for the first time with that red jacket is one of the places where to me it kind of doesn't fit. I needed that song that it switches to when she enters the doors to be playing the whole time. Not the one that the one it faded into from. The one it faded from didn't fit to me. Ryler's death. I don't know. Probably my least favorite, maybe. I don't know yet. The effects look good, but I don't know. And did she say clam jam? right, vegetarian. I'm bewildered. I'm bewildered at this generation. Now my sense of humor, the bathroom wall saying "You're beautiful," and then someone writing "Except Natalie Wyatt." Like I don't know, that got a chuckle out of me. And Vaughn in the bathroom talking about his floppy anteater, which apparently he ad-libbed. By the way, that shit was hilarious. Now fucking get off my lawn. Go ahead, Mike.
First of all, my guy Butcher hadn't eaten in fucking forever. God damn, that man was scarfing this shit down. Also, that breakfast looked kind of fire, so I understand. And, Catherine Newton, shout out, man. I'm going to shout out the acting a lot in this movie because she's doing a great job just being creepy as fuck in this scene, completely switching the previous character that she was already playing. I thought it was really well done. A little callback to the sorry, I'm just going to say it for what it is. A little callback to the gay mailman that Josh had on his phone in the earlier part of the movie. Oh, that was pretty funny. Now I can't unsee him outside of his whatever costume he was wearing there. Also, I don't know if it's just me, but later in the film he does. But like in this part, can the Butcher not speak in full sentences? He's just saying like one word as Millie. I mean, like just one word. All right, well, you can fucking speak, I think. I mean, you definitely do later. Anyway, the red jacket is an iconic look. Like I got to give her credit, or whoever came up with that idea. I think this is a really cool look for a mass murderer in this particular setting. I thought it was really cool. And I think the song choice when she walks into the school, I think is a really fun fit. This is a really cool scene, I thought. The text where she told her friend that Millie was a lesbian because she thought it the whole time. I thought that was pretty funny after all that went down. And then a hell of a kill. Now, we don't see the aftermath till later, but, I mean, she basically got fried from Futurama, but, but also died. Didn't go back to the future. To the future, sorry. it's a frozen kill, which obviously is a Jason X nod, Brian. Thank you. Anyway, so far up to this point, they've done a really good job with sprinkling in a little bit of comedy and making it very serious to this point. But then you get Vince Vaughn playing a teenage girl, and it reminds me of Rob Schneider and Hot Chick all over again, except better. I think he does a great job as kind of being Millie for the first time here. I thought it was really well done, especially, once everyone realizes who he is and has a secret handshake and all that, and he's just playing with his dick. Like, that's pretty fucking funny, man. I'm sorry. It's fucking hilarious. I just really like these characters. I like their friendship. I love that Vince Vaughn is involved now. I think it's a really fun set of scenes.
Yeah, so just as I said in the last set of scenes that Vaughn is great playing Millie in his body, Newton is equally as good as the Butcher in hers. Like, it's so nuanced and entertaining to watch. Hilarious when Millie's mom took the knife from her when she went to stab Charlene. Like, I like how that was done. Vaughn was great again when he bumped into the woman and screamed and took off running. That shit was funny. Good shit with Millie showing up at school, acting and dressing edgier and turning everyone's heads. I think that was a good touch to add that in there. It's kind of like what's the movie when old girl comes down the stairs? She took her glasses off and put on a dress, and now she's hot. It's like, that's just funny. She's still the same girl. I didn't come here to clam jam with you is a hell of a line. Like, I laughed.
Fucking incredible.
I laughed. I usually call that cat fighting, but I'm now going to start calling it clam jamming. That's funny. Friesen Ryler was crazy, and her shattering was even more insane. But what kind of school is that? We certainly didn't have a cryo chamber at my school. That must be one of those rich schools that Brian's kids get to attend. Vaughn's encounter with Millie's friends is hilarious. He's trying to explain the situation. But my biggest takeaway is balls. I got balls. Women have no idea how bad getting kicked in the nads is. Like, that hurts like a motherfucker. And that's something. I'm glad they threw that in there, this movie. Because we see guys get kicked in the nuts all the time. But when it's a girl playing a guy and seeing what kind of pain, yeah, it's a different kind of pain. I could have went without the bathroom antics, though. Like, too much implied dick. Didn't need to hear it slapping on his thighs like that. I'm good on that.
That shit was hilarious, bro. Come on. Come on.
It was funny.
Sound effects and everything.
It was great.
Yeah.
The old flaccid dick. Let's go.
Yeah, I knew you'd like that scene. But I love this movie.
God, so fun little fact there on that set of scene, Vince Vaughn's, when he fell during the auditorium chase, it was actually accidental and not scripted. Apparently, Vaughn slipped on the fake plant that was knocked over and lost his balance, but continued the scene.
Shout out to Vince Vaughn.
Our
Butcher says boys are gross sitting in the stall looking at all the drawings. Butcher intimidates a bully who messed with Millie and others in the past. The kid pisses himself and Butcher drops him on the ground. Nyla and Josh tell Butcher they have to swap within the day or it's permanent, and the knife is at the police station. Millie enters Mr. Bernardi's classroom and gets dressed to do some woodworking. She fires up a saw and fights with the teacher. He slams her and walks away until she leaps on his back. He slams her into the wall and kicks her. She stabs him in the neck with a screwdriver and she kicks him onto the saw table. She then cuts him in half, and god damn, that kill was cool. Millie and the trio of friends meet in the hall and she yells out for help. The Butcher is here. They run outside and make it into the car. Josh gets the car started finally and they drive off. Butcher asks for more room as they devise a plan. Charlene sees him speed past and chases after them. The trio make it to Discount Bonanza and the Butcher hides in a dressing room. Coral tells the Butcher she's great at helping men pick out polos and tells him the story of getting her husband a pink polo, and the Butcher says, I bet it was his favorite shirt. Butcher comforts her and says he lost his dad. The two have a sentimental moment on loss. Coral tells him about her daughters and smothering Millie. Coral thanks him for comforting her and now asks if maybe he'd like to grab a coffee sometime since they have a connection. He says he's married and can't though. Charlene runs in telling her to call Millie now and make sure she's safe. Nyla brings Butcher a scary Aaron Rodgers mask. They exit the dressing room and Butcher can't see and keeps falling over. Josh finds where Millie is on the gram. A guy grabs Millie's ass and she cuts him to the core and says she's going to kill him. Millie gives Booker a look and he pursues after her. Butcher realizes Millie is going to kill Booker. He grabs a golf club and says to Josh, divide and conquer. They're all walking through a haunted house and Millie emerges behind Booker. Millie goes to kill him, but the Butcher saves him. Butcher hits Millie with a golf club and tackles Booker into a wall, knocking him out and keeping him quiet. All right, Brian, so next set of scenes, what'd you think?
All right, so the bathroom wall saying, "My anus is bleeding." Listen, I don't know why I'm laughing so much at the graffiti on the bathroom walls, but motherfucker, I am. And I laughed a lot. And why is literally nobody in the school while they're doing all this walking around here, though? There's no high school in America that's this empty during the day. So I just want to throw that out there.
My high school we were in class like we were supposed to be.
No, okay, that's a lie. And
Can't relate.
Yeah. Now, best kill, I think it's going to be Alan fucking Ruck, because that looked absolutely tremendous. But even just the blood squirting out of his neck at the beginning of it was awesome. Now, no way she's winning in that fight without the element of surprise, but whatever. The kill was so awesome, I'll forgive it. These cops, though, they continue to be the worst in film history. And listen, I had to read that was an Aaron Rodgers mask that they gave the butcher, because I didn't catch that the first time, I guess, but that's the worst fucking Aaron Rodgers mask I've ever seen. Like, I thought it was Richard Nixon, I think maybe at first, I don't know, but I don't know, something, but knowing it's Aaron Rodgers makes it even funnier to me. Another good group of scenes, other than admittedly the scene in the changing room between Butcher and the mom. I didn't buy that whole conversation. I'm sorry. It's kind of dumb to believe also that there wouldn't be a ton of cops there by now and wouldn't see a dude with a fucking Halloween mask walking around. But, then again, this is the worst police department in cinema history for real. So maybe now the scenes in in that neon lit haunted house, whatever that was, I thought was shot really damn cool. So they stood out. Some good and some bad here.
Hey, before you go, Mike, I'll say the Aaron Rodgers mask, they do say it in the movie.
Yeah, I just didn't.
But
I didn't hear it. I guess I didn't hear it.
But that had to be a rib, because Vince Vaughn is a huge Bears fan, so that had to be a rib on him.
That was a Rodgers mask. That's awesome, by the way. Him thinking boys are man, cock gobbler, fucking hilarious. I'm calling somebody that eventually. Again, Vince Vaughn is great here as Millie. Just fucking nails this role. And again, they kind of set it up where you want the shop teacher to die, and then you don't just get him dying. You get, spoiler, my favorite fucking kill of the whole movie. This is awesome. It looks fantastic. It works, and it was satisfying because fuck this guy. Again, I love that they kind of roped Discount Bonanza back into it after she got bullied for it earlier. I thought that was great. I actually really did like the scene between the butcher and Millie's mom, because obviously it's Millie. And I think them finally being able to talk to one another was a pretty big breakthrough. She touches on it later in the next set of scenes, but like her being in this body kind of got her to open up, feel stronger inside and out. So not all the way around a bad experience. And her being able to talk to her mom was really nice. I thought it was touching. They kind of ruin it, though. They don't stick the landing where they try to go out with each other. That was kind of weird. Just there's a few other things that are weird in the next set of scenes or two. But anyway, I thought that part was really well done. Him walking around in that mask is fucking hilarious, man. Like you said, fucking rib. Aaron, that was great. And last thing, Catherine Newton is great in this set of scenes as the butcher. Like, it feels like she decided to play it as, and I mentioned her only speaking like one word earlier, but almost like she takes her time where the character kind of feels it out. Oh, I'm in a new body. What the fuck is this? I got to learn how to actually kill in this body before I can do anything with it. And I feel like she starts to kind of get comfortable and comes into her own and acts just like the butcher would. I think she fucking nails it here. Good shit.
All right. So, huge issue in the next bathroom scene. Why the fuck would that kid bang on one particular stall door saying to hurry? There's 3 stalls there. And like the doors were closed on the others, but we don't really pick up or get indication there's anyone in those other stalls. So that just bothered me. But anyway, Bernardi may have been the worst teacher in history. Like, I don't feel bad about his ending. And it was entertaining. Seeing the butcher struggle because he's in a smaller, weaker body and then splitting the body with the saw. Hell yes. The plus 5,000 awareness move by the butcher to scream help when he sees Millie and his body. Great way to throw off the cops and to get rid of the group, to get them to fuck right off. I thought that was brilliant awareness there. The cop on the scanner was great. One female, black, one white, excited. That shit was funny. What do you mean excited? What are you trying to say? Like, come on, that was funny. Touching interaction with Millie's mom and Millie in the butcher's body in the fitting room with just the right amount of comedy sprinkled in. I thought that was really well done. Calling Millie a crafty beaver while grabbing her ass, that was cringeworthy, like negative riz there. Her line was great, though. His touch makes her pussy drier than sandpaper. Jesus, like that. If a woman told me that, I'd probably go play in traffic. Like, that's brutal. This is a great way to wrap up this set of scenes with Millie as the butcher slamming Booker into the wall. She's really not used to her new strength, and it's all very entertaining.
Man, the only line I've heard recently that hurt more than that, I think, was when Marty told his wife that he loves her, and she said, "Thank you." I was like, oof.
Well, look who you're talking about. Satan herself, Maggie Hart.
I'm not going to get you started on that again. All right. Millie is tied up to a chair at the house as Nyla puts a cold bag of veggies on Booker's head. Booker wakes up and is horrified seeing the butcher. He tells him he's Millie. The butcher and Millie begin to both talk to Booker, and he's confused as hell. Booker tries to run off until the butcher recites a poem that Millie put in his locker, confirming the body swap. Millie calls him a sad fucking cunt. Nyla shoves a rag into her mouth. They volunteer Josh to stay back at the house to watch Millie while they go get the knife from the police station. Nyla says she's got this and heads into the police station. Nyla tells Charlene the butcher kidnapped them earlier. She escaped and followed her here. She runs outside to check it out, and the butcher and Booker chat about being bullied, and it feels good to feel strong for once. Booker says strength comes from your heart and brain. Josh's mom gets home and sees Millie all tied up. He says they're role-playing. Josh now tells him his mom he's straight, and they don't take him seriously at all. Millie stomps Mom's foot and breaks free, chasing them through the house with a knife. Nyla gets the Ladola, and Josh calls saying that Millie escaped. Charlene enters asking Nyla what is going on. Booker asks to go back to the back seat and ask about the poem. He says it was beautiful. He admits he hoped it was Millie who left the poem and says he's loved her since day one. Booker and the butcher kiss, but Butcher pushes him away, saying maybe we wait until his hands are not bigger than his face. Millie runs into the station, as does the butcher. Millie grabs a knife and escapes in a cop car. Charlene leads the butcher to a cell at gunpoint. However, Josh distracts him, and the butcher locks Charlene in the cell. The butcher tells Josh that Millie has a Ladola. Let's go. All right, Bryson, next set of scenes, what do you think?
Good Lord, man. Listen, if old Booker dude got hit in the head that hard to be knocked out literally this entire time for them to bring him all the way back to the house, well, man's got CTE, brain damage without question. Like, that guy might not wake up. The whole police station thing, stealing the knife, I think this was my least favorite set of scenes. I just kind of shook my head. Like, how did Char go search around the police department without, number one, telling everyone, and then not seeing the car sitting outside, then comes in and pulls a gun on Lucky from Ghostbusters, and then just fires when the butcher comes in randomly in the police station? You should have done that shit at the football stadium. We wouldn't have even gotten here. And then we threw Char into a holding cell, yet she still has the radio on her shoulder. Okay. I hated that part. And the car thing with Booker and the butcher, I mean, yeah, I thought it was sweet and genuine, but I thought it was out of place here, in my opinion. Have that scene maybe at the house before they leave or something, not here. Now, back at Josh's, I did laugh when his mom got home. He said, honey, you're a lot of things, but straight isn't one of them. Great line exchange there. Even with Millie, like, looking at him like he was crazy when he said that, I thought that was pretty funny. But that's all I had on the set.
Yeah, I didn't have a ton here, but I do like the first scene in the set here. It's awesome. I think there's something really weird, creepy, and funny about Vince Vaughn trying to get this fucking high schooler to have the hots for him. Like, just super fucking weird. Like, weird vibes for sure. And I thought the poem was hilarious. I thought the way he read it was really, really well done. And, like, I feel like the idea should have been to get the knife first, then capture Millie / the butcher and try to do it at their house. Like, I feel like that would have been where you should go. But anyway, and again, there's these, like, touching moments because you're rooting for Millie and Booker, but it's Vince fucking Vaughn. Like, it's really awkward and really weird. It's funny, don't get me wrong, but it's just odd, so odd. And I think the scenes with Josh's mom are hilarious. The line about you may be many things, but straight isn't one of them, I thought was really funny. I was not expecting a kind of a kiss scene here. That was odd, just a little bit odd. You know, one looks like he's about 12 and the other doesn't. So super odd. But anyway, my last, and this is a nitpick. The sister is really dumb in this police station scene. Like, you don't think all of her friends being there would be a red flag that maybe you should stop and listen to them for a second? Like, I know she's a cop and has, that's the way her brain works, but come on, man. Like, these are your sister's friends. You should maybe just give it a listen. Why would they be working this super fucking weird? And I thought the sister was dumb. Anyway, that's all I had.
All right, so really think they should have gagged Butcher in Millie's body before Booker woke up. Would have helped sell him without a competing voice there. So, dumb kids. I do have to agree with Butcher, though. An anonymous poem in the locker is cowardly. Men do not pick up on subtleties all that well, so say it with the chest if you have a crush on someone. Don't be anonymous, you coward. Josh faking straight and saying they're role-playing, that was so fucking funny. I laughed my ass off. He's the least convincing straight possibly ever. So, like, trying to pull one over on his mom there, that was just entertaining. Booker getting in the back seat and making a move on Millie would be great if she were in her body. So awkwardly funny seeing it play out with Vince Vaughn. Hands down the funniest kiss we've ever covered on this podcast. No competition. And then the last thing I have, the way that Millie as the Butcher left Charlene in a mindfuck is also hilarious. Never once said, I'm Millie and I'm in the Butcher's body. Just, here's a few things that only your sister would know that aren't going to make sense to you. Bye. That shit was so funny. Like, she had to be sitting in that jail cell like, what the fuck is that? But anyway, I'm so entertained by this movie.
All right, Millie is at the dance at the old mill, and the jock from earlier took it personally about him making her pussy dry. Millie pretends to like him and walks off with him. Booker says they have 13 minutes left or you're the Butcher forever and sets a timer. The jock leads Millie to a room where there's other jocks. She pours out the liquor and attacks him with a bottle and broken glass. She grabs a chainsaw. The jock trips over his friend and is killed by the chainsaw. The group looks for Millie at the party, and another jock says he saw Millie and takes Josh with him. Butcher and Booker find the 3 dead jocks, and they find Nyla as cops enter the party. Another jock kisses Josh, and he's pushed away. He says he'll kill him if he tells anyone until suddenly a hook surges through the building and into the jock's eye. Butcher and Millie confront, and Millie says she wants her body back. The two fight now, and the cops appear, shooting the Ladola out of the Butcher's hand. Butcher knocks the cop out and chases after Millie. He grows fatigued, and Nyla catches up to Millie, tackling her. The Butcher has a knife, and the timer goes off. Millie laughs, time's up, until Butcher remembers when Booker said to set the watch 5 minutes ahead, saves your ass every time. Butcher stabs Millie with the Ladola, and their bodies swap back. Josh yells to the cops to shoot that motherfucker. Emergency help is on the scene, and the trio are in shock of what happened. Booker joins Millie, and they have their first kiss after making sure her hand's not bigger than his whole face. She shoots the bird at Nyla and Josh and runs to her mom and sister. All right, Brian, so the next set of scenes, what do you think? And the next set is the ending.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, Nico. I think this should be the ending. That's why I do have that in my notes, too. I love this throat slash here in the set of scene, although, come on. She's not getting the drop on 3 football players right there. Come on. And then I hated that it cut away from the chainsaw kill to Brett, but then you're telling me that the girl dragged his body back over to the circle with the other guys that, to be found. Nah, man. Nah, dog. But Phil's death was badass with that fucking hook. Great effects there. Our girl Millie apparently has gotten a ton stronger, busting through walls and everything else. But, here we are. Oh, look, the cop's back at the dance, walking in and shooting up in the air. Okay. And then finding them and then happen to only shoot the knife out when they take a shot. And then they do nothing while he gets body checked into the wall. It was just absolutely eye rolling there to me. And it kind of would have been cool for them to be stuck in each other's body, like end of story, like in the end. I don't know, do something different. I'm not even going to mention the cops showing up, firing 4 rounds, and each round literally hitting him only in the shoulders. Okay. Either way, like you said, I completely agree. This should have been the end, or at least the next part with the kiss in the ambulance, because I am just not a fan of the next set of scenes at all. I was ready for it to be over.
Hey, man, another dude that deserved to die on screen. Fuck these football players, man. Yeah, not super realistic, but I mean, they were about to, that would have been dark. That was super fucking dark. We were about to get, man. Man, that was like a fucking scene out of 13 Reasons Why, man. I'm out on that. I'm glad that Millie won that shit. Let's go, Butcher. I was cheering for you. I really wish they'd showed that chainsaw kill though. That was a badass thing to find. It's the only chainsaw scene in the movie. More horror movie nods there. I think it was pretty cool. And also, probably my number 2 favorite kill in the movie, this fucking fish hook kill through the eye. Goddamn, I know what you did last summer. Weapon here, right through the eye, through the wall. I thought that was fucking sick, man. Great kill. And while Millie was slow, she had fast friends that chased down the Butcher. Or excuse me, I guess the Butcher was slow, technically, Vince Vaughn, and had fast friends to chase down. But anyway, and I actually really liked the fact that the watch was 5 minutes ahead. I thought that was a fun little twist where just for a second your heart breaks and you're like, oh, okay, everything's going to be fine. I thought that was pretty fun. And, normally these things, where love conquers all, happy ever after are kind of corny to me, but I was pulling for her and Booker. So I was happy to see them finally kiss instead of watching Vince Vaughn make out with some fucking high school dude.
Yeah, but that would have kind of been funny. Come on, the watch went off, and then them two had to go off walking off, holding hands. That shit would have been funny.
I would watch. I need like a mini series of just seeing what happens. 30 days in 30 days in each other's bodies.
So Nyla telling Millie as the Butcher that they're in this together was nice. It reminds me of a sweet meme that we share in our group chat. The rapey scene was tough to watch. Him saying that she has 3 holes and it adds up. Yeah, they deserved what they got. Fuck those guys. Then we finally get a chainsaw in a movie that doesn't crank with the first pull of the string. I don't know that the second pull is believable either, especially one that looks that old, but it's an improvement. I will take it.
Right.
All these fucking movies. God, come on. Kills me. And then even the gay football players are douchebags. I do not feel sorry for Phil either. Like, fuck. And then I did laugh when he said, stop, I'm trying to stab myself. Like, it reminded me of Liar Liar when he's like, I'm kicking my own ass. Do you mind? So that was funny. Great callback to earlier when Booker told Millie to set her watch 5 minutes ahead. And for that to be what saves her. Good shit there. Cause like you said, Mike, like your heart breaks for a minute. You're like, oh shit, she's fucked. But then false alarm. I thought that was well done. Who's your favorite athlete though? That's a terrible question to ask. Butcher could have guessed that Millie hated sports. And, and then they'd be like, oh, okay, this is definitely Millie then. I definitely needed to ask a more intimate question to ensure that the switchback worked. That annoyed me. And you guys have already said it, but I'll reiterate. This movie honestly could have ended here. The story was fulfilling, had a fulfilling ending, but we press onward.
Yep, and here's the end. We're in the ambulance now with the Butcher. They think he's going to die. He flatlines, and we're at the house with Millie in bed with her mama. She tells Charlene she loves her. Coral tells Millie she wants her to apply to the college in Boston. Live your life, Millie. And Millie is thankful to have her support. Millie sees their front doors open and grows wary. She calls out for Char, but no answer. She walks through the house cautiously. She hears a thud in the living room, but sees nothing until the Butcher appears behind her with a knife to her throat. Charlene goes to shoot him, but no bullets. Coral arrives, bashing him in the head with, I think, a glass vase or a glass cup. I don't know. He punches Mom and slams Charlene into the TV. Millie goes to stab him, but stops. He grabs her hand and speaks on her being weak, crippled with anxiety, clinging to her dead dad. He headbutts her and drops her to the floor. But she kicks him in the balls, and the ladies triple team him with attacks. Millie stabs a piece of a broken table or leg from a chair, I don't know what it was, piece of wood, through his chest. And then she kicks it all the way through him. And the film ends with Millie saying, I am a fucking piece. All right, that's the ending. Mike, what'd you think?
Yeah, so I get what you're all saying. I do. It's not that I don't even necessarily agree, because if the movie ended and the ambulance ride off, totally fine. However, I disagree in the sense that I think this shouldn't exist. Like, this is fun to me. It's fine. Again, I wasn't expecting this kind of like fake out death ending, but it really doesn't bother me in the way it bothers you guys, but I completely understand what you're all saying. I do. If it ended there, fine. I will say the mom finally redeems herself, so then maybe that's why I enjoy it. She kind of sucks the most of the film, outside of making some different breakfast, or some decent breakfast. But here she redeems herself. Sorry, let me back that up. And then you go and totally redeem yourself. All right, sorry. Bottle to the head. Goddamn, like we were at a dice game. Love that. And then I thought the kill itself to end the movie was fucking great. Compared to the original one of the Butcher, I thought this one was much better, much more impactful. So I didn't mind it, but was it necessary? I guess not. But all in all, it doesn't bring down the film for me. I enjoyed it quite a bit.
So I feel like the rest of this could have been condensed and used as a mid-credit scene. Like, it didn't really add anything to the story. It could have been used as a teaser for a possible sequel. I'm not saying we need a sequel, but a teaser would have been fine, or, a cliffhanger ending.
Fair. Yep, that's fair.
Like, we didn't need to see her mom tell her to go to college. We didn't need the whole fight scene between Butcher and the mom and sister. It was funny seeing her remember what it's like to get kicked in the boys and use that to her advantage. But I just didn't need it. Just show us him in the ambulance with the pulse monitor off, show us Millie freaked out around the house, and show us him stalking Millie even, and just let our minds wander. That would have been fine with me, because we can come to our own conclusion. She fought him off, Charlene shot him, or maybe it was all a dream. Maybe this was just all a dream, all a paranoia. It would have also knocked about 10 minutes off the runtime, which I think was needed. An hour, 42 minutes. You didn't feel it for most of the movie, but here you did, because we already got the conclusion we wanted. We were satisfied. Let us go home.
Exactly.
All right, guys, let's jump into our social media comments and questions. We actually don't have any on the old Instagrams. D. Frank, you got the old X pulled up, formerly known as the tweeter?
Yeah, let me get it pulled back up here. We got a few on there. Randy Smith, Go Dog, said, another movie filmed in the great state of Georgia, and then a couple of dog emojis. Same town as Jason Lives and Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, where I live. I kept trying to run into the great Vince Vaughn. Personally enjoyed the movie. Well acted. Basically a horror Freaky Friday. Solid pick, Mike. And then Shan said, love this movie. Vince Vaughn is both hilarious and terrifying in this movie. Friend of the show, Sean the Glee Man. It's always polarizing. What's he going to say? Is he going to like it? Is he going to shit on it and be wrong? He said, movie was a great blend of ridiculous and horror. Definitely an enjoyable watch. So he's in the right here. And then Andrew Ferguson said, Rob Schneider and Rachel McAdams did a much better version. He's obviously referring to the hot chick. I cannot agree
with that.
Because I'm not going to give Rob Schneider credit for anything at all. Movies, life, nothing. Fuck Rob Schneider. Go ahead.
I don't hate the hot chick. I just don't think it's better than this.
The Book of Faces, we only have 2. Shanna Turner said she really enjoyed this one, saw it in theaters, loved Vince Vaughn and Catherine Newton. And Missy Hutchinson Wall said that this one is a lot of fun. And that's all we had.
Nice.
It is a lot of fun. Y'all got any fun facts? Speaking of fun?
I only have one. Director, co-writer Christopher Landon proposed a crossover movie with Happy Death Day from 2017. Landon did that one as well, called Freaky Death Day. Hell yeah.
Sign me the fuck up now.
I love all of those movies. I'm in.
Hell yeah.
That reminds me of the teased Men in Black and 21 Jump Street crossover that we got.
Yeah.
I'll give me that one as well while we're on the topic, man. Fuck yeah. So I got a few fun facts here. Catherine Newton was...
What the hell is Men in Black? Oh, sorry, just kidding.
There's no way you're being serious.
I'm just seen
Men in Black. Just a sidebar. This is my favorite old man joke from that movie. This coffee tastes like dirt. What do you expect? It was on the ground yesterday. God, I love that. But Catherine Newton was...
Why is it got to be old man joke? Why can't it just be...
Because that's your kind of humor.
That's it, buddy.
Come on, man. I'm in my prime.
Okay, dad joke, sorry.
There we go.
I'm in my prime.
Yeah, all right, sigh. Catherine Newton was the first choice for Millie, but she originally declined the role. However, after speaking with Jason Blum about the project, she eventually changed her mind. I'm glad she did, because this was awesome. The director says in the commentary that he couldn't get approval for use or to use various search engines and products, but Grindr was completely fine with using a version of their app in the film as long as the character using it was 18. So that's the dating app, if you want to call it that, Joshua
Mailman.
was using earlier, saw the mailman. The lunch lady that runs away in the cafeteria scene is costume designer Whitney Ann Adams. There's that. The town square in the movie is in Covington, Georgia, which is the same town square in Dukes of Hazzard in the first 5 episodes. Hell yeah, I love Dukes of Hazzard. Great show. And then last one I got, the movie is fun.
I love it.
The movie is fun. That movie meant the world to me because of Jessica Simpson. But anyway,
Just a good old boy.
Loved it. Thought you
Last-
said go, Bo, go.
no, you see how that sounds kind of. So the last one I've got is
Or
that
you
Vince
want
Vaughn was in the breakup with Jennifer Aniston, who was on Friends with David Arquette's ex-wife, Courtney Cox.
Nice.
Easy.
Money man.
Where you want it, and then he hits him with the fucking phone book. Great shit. Anyway, all right.
Wasn't sure where you're going with that at first, to be honest with you. Go ahead, budget.
Hey, yo. Respectfully, of course. Freaky was made for a whopping, I'm just kidding, a cool $6 million. And I think given some of the circumstances at the time, it made a $9 million in the U.S., and $9 million in other places around the world, combined total grossing $18 million. So it made its money back and then some, and became a cult classic on the streaming scene. So I think it's doing pretty well for itself.
Yeah, man, fuck COVID. This movie
Yeah,
deserves
I
so
know.
much more money.
Hell yeah, it does.
Yeah, this one was a good one. All right, to our favorite kill, least favorite kill, and the rating. Who wants to kick us off tonight?
Favorite kill was the wine bottle down the throat. Like, it was just fucking brutal.
That was
Least
great.
favorite kill. Sorry, Mike. I think you like this kill more than me, but tennis racket through the head. It was kind of ridiculous. And like,
Not my
this is a
favorite,
horror.
though, so we're good.
Okay. This was a horror comedy, but that was a little bit too ha ha.
That kill's awesome, man. Fuck off.
Oh my God.
Respect.
Anyway,
Supposed to be a heel.
That's a cool kill.
this is, as far as my rating and final thoughts, this is a super fun movie. Great casting. I love it. It does have its flaws, and it's not, absolute pure cinema, but it's still great. I can't wait to do another Christopher Landon horror comedy banger, Happy Death Day, that Brian also mentioned,
Hell yeah.
which I like that movie a little bit more than this one. So on this movie, I landed at an 8.
Dang. Okay. Mike, you want to go ahead and go?
Sure.
I'll go after you.
My favorite kill was the shot class saw kill. Still just fucking
Yeah.
incredible. Loved every
Fair.
bit of it. Honestly, I don't know if I have a least favorite. I guess if I had to pick one, it's the toilet head or the toilet seat over the head kill there. That was just fine. I really do enjoy this movie a lot. I think it's very fucking fun. Anytime I watch it, I just have a great time with it, man. I've seen it like 4 times now. I will probably watch it again before the year is over just because it's becoming slowly one of my favorites to throw on and have a good time with. Vince Vaughn is great. Catherine Newton is great. The rest of the cast plays really good characters. I think this movie's smartly written. I know some of the dialogue is cringe, but some of that's just the fuck, we're fucking old and these people are young and they're talking like young people talk. So that's, that's really not our fault, I guess, or not their fault. That's just, we're fucking old. So some of it is.
Look who wrote
Yeah.
it, though. I mean, they weren't young guys. I mean, they're
Yeah,
older than
but,
us.
dude, Bodies, which you like and I like too, has some of the same shit. I'm like, no one talks like, oh yes, they do. They do
You're
in
the
fact talk
murderer.
like- yeah, it's anyway. I had a great time with it. I appreciate you guys indulging it, and it seems like everyone liked it. So haven't had a movie universally liked in a while. So I'm glad I did. I gave this movie an 8.5.
All right, I'll go next. Favorite kill. There's a lot of good ones, man. You could pick any of them from the beginning, but I
Yeah.
had to go with Mr. Bernardi as well. Wanted to choose that wine bottle glass. That's a great kill too. That's like 1B right behind it. Least favorite kill. I'm gonna go with the girl who got stabbed on the wall, just because she didn't let my man get his nut. She was a bitch, and she deserved a worse kill than that. Like, that's just
Damn.
treacherous behavior. Didn't let my man
Damn.
get his nut and doggy. Like, come on, all he
Damn.
needed was 3 more strokes. He'd have been done.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying? All right, anywho, let's move on from that before we get a bad Apple Podcast review. All right, I think Vince Vaughn was great as a slasher. Like, I'm on board with him being a slasher, honestly, at this point. He was great. Opening scene was great. I loved all the callbacks to our, some of our favorite slashers, Scream, Halloween, Friday the 13th, get a lot of great callbacks. The movie is fun. Catherine Newton is a rising star. She's great in this. I have a few nitpicks, dialogue issues. The ending, I'm not a huge fan of. And it's not even the part at the house. It's just the fact that he's still alive and we got another kill scene. I actually enjoyed the sentimental moment. Have the moment with mom in the fucking movie. I'm good with that. But I gave it an 8 as well. I thought it was really good. I'll definitely be watching it again.
All right, I agree with everybody else about the kills. Cameron from Ferris Bueller being sawed in half. Best kill. My lamest kill, I went with the chainsaw to old dude's dick because it was off screen.
Good call.
Hey, movie's a lot of fun. I gave it a 7.75.
Okay. So that puts us at a composite score of 8.0625. IMDb, what the hell you doing? They got it at 6.3. What do they know?
What the fuck do they know? Fuck them.
Not shit. That I'll tell you. Rotten Tomatoes, though, we're right in line with Rotten Tomatoes. We're right in line with Rotten Tomatoes, who is, I go by critic score, so we're right in line with the actual critics, and they got it at 83%.
That's right.
All right, Mike, great choice. I had a blast with it. It's the first time I saw it this week, so I really liked it. I'm going to shout out our blood donors and my pick for next week. Blood donors, legendary blood donor Dana Tucker, really appreciate you. Camper level reoccurring Nina, Michelle Mirza, the Horror Movie Crew podcast, Alex Seligson, Michael Evans, and Steve Schmidt. Camp counselor reoccurring Edwin Hernandez Gunn, Joe Swinford, Shan, Adrian Aiello, Brian Samick, Andrew Ferguson, Matt Strickland, Brooke Maley, Thorne David Phillips, Heather Superdoc, Jennifer Davis, the Too Close to Home podcast, Dana Tucker, Cole McAlexander, and Max K, an upgraded blood donor. Really appreciate y'all. Like I've been saying the past few weeks, a lot of those names have been on this list for a long time. It means a lot that you care about us, care about our show, and help support us. It means a lot, sincerely. My pick next week in Brian's free month. Considering I hate the first movie, I've picked the only other Evil Dead movie we've done, Evil Dead Rise. Really like that one. And I like Evil Dead, the 2013. I don't even know if it's a sequel or a remake. They kind of argue online what it is, but we're doing Evil Dead from 2013. Jane Levy, Fede Alvarez, sign me up. I have a good time with it. It's fun. We appreciate y'all listening, and we'll be back next week.
Just want to remind everybody,